Hey everybody, this is Dust for Dust on Gaming on a hot and muggy day here on Memorial Day in the US. Continuing our blue-white series here on the channel. I'm going to go as long as I can without passing out from the heat and the fan not blowing on me. So if it gets to be too much here, we might have to pull the fan out here. I'm going to go 1 second here, mute the mic. Alright, we're back. Sorry, I had to get the shirt off. It's way too warm up here. So, been playing blue-white Flash, blue-white Control. So, today we're going to be trying a little bit of Esper. This is, I think, the simplest version of Esper I've seen. There are a lot of lists with like 2-ofs and some better card quality and better options, etc., etc. But this time we're going to be playing, main difference between blue-white X, or blue-white and blue-white black here, Esper, is you have access to Fatal Push, so you have a little more early interaction for creatures. You also have access to Vraska's Contempt, which allows you to instant speed deal with Planeswalkers and use Torrential Gearhulk to also deal with Planeswalkers, whereas when you're just running Cast Out, you don't have that option. So, this list is a list from a couple weeks back that 5-0'd. 27 lands, which I like. The land base, you know, you have 8 of the cycle lands, you have 12 of the, however you want to, whenever you control an island or swamp or whatever the various different conditions are. So, generally speaking, the mana's pretty good. The only condition you're really lacking is you only have 1 Field of Ruin. You don't really have room for things like Memorial to Genius or Arch of Ozaka. Beyond that, you've got your Fatal Pushes, Seal Aways, and Vraska's Contempts, as well as 3 Settle the Wreckage to deal with creatures. You have Syncopates, Disallows, and Vraska's Contempt to deal with Planeswalkers. Search for Azcanta and Glimmer as your card advantage choices, along with Teferi. Then you have Teferi and Torrential Gearhulk to kind of close out the matches. Esper has a little bit less in the way of sweepers, a little bit more in early interaction compared to blue-white. The mana might be a little bit clunkier. I guess we'll see on that. Sideboard was also pretty streamlined compared to some of the other builds. So 3 Duresses for matchups like the Mirror or Red-Black in post-board games. Doomfall can come in when you need more removal against big creatures. Also, another Duress effect in the control mirrors. Argol's Bloodfast when you need another control matchup. Tool, this is going to draw you a lot of cards. Vraska's Contempt when you deal with mono red, big idiots, or any various Planeswalker heavy decks, or red-black in the post-board games. Forsake the Worldly comes in against anything with enchantments, the blue-white mirror. Red-black also has Argol's Bloodfast and various things such as Scrap Heap Scrounger. Fumigates when you need more sweepers, such as against mono red or green-based aggro decks, and then negates for whatever matchups you also need them in, like the blue-white control mirror, or red-black once again in the post-board games. So I think that about covers the deck from differences between that and regular blue-white. Gonna play a couple 2-man queues. Come on, internets. But it is hot and sticky up here, and I really don't want a fan blowing on me because that sounds like we're in a wind tunnel. But we might have to get to that, do that at some point here during the stream. So I apologize when that kicks in. I will try to warn you guys. But for now, we're just going to enjoy the Northeast Ohio sweatshop and try to stream some Magic. But main reason I wanted to try Esper is to see if it's worth the additional investment in terms of the mana base, things like Vraska's Contempt, etc. So, wish our opponent good luck. Isn't the most exciting hand, but we've got plenty of early interaction if this is a creature deck, so I think we're inclined to keep. Especially in the 2-man queues, I've seen quite a bit more aggro than control or any such things, so immediately hit by the blue-white mirror, question mark. Okay, I'm not quite sure what's going on here. We'll go ahead and play out Catacombs, that way we have access to black for Fatal Push, should it come to that. Might be up against... Pass here. Probably going to cycle Irrigated Farmland. Alright, this feels like something similar to the mono blue combo deck we played against a couple streams ago. I think it was based around, why can I not remember the name of the card? I will remember the name of the card eventually, but not at the moment. It's a 5-mana artifact that whenever you play a non-creature spell, it untaps all your non-land permanents. Drawing a blank on it at the moment. Ah, no, we're just facing a Panharmonicon deck. So, do this, so... No Panharmonicon for you. Disallows, not a bad draw. Don't have enough artifacts in play to activate that right now, friend. Ornithopter, seriously? The opponent's going to show us what they get here. Probably either another Panharmonicon or Decoction Module. So I think this is the infinite counters deck, but I can't remember exactly how the combo works. So just gonna go ahead and kill that there. Really need like a Glimmer or Gearhulk. I guess Syncopate will work. Now we're sitting here with all this creature removal against pretty much a non-creature deck. So. Once again, Gearhulk would be great here. Past our opponent here. Fun, exciting games of Magic. Sometimes that's the risk of 2-man queues, But post-board games will be in a lot better shape, so. The Panharmonicon? Per session. Yeah, I'm thinking I can't allow that to resolve. 1, 2, 3. Red. 3. No in procession for you, friend. We are vulnerable here now. Like, we only have so many counters in our deck, and without Gearhulk or Teferi, we're really just kind of floundering a little bit. Exile this in response to the energy. Fatal Push. Yep. We were playing a creature deck, would be in great shape, but I think right now we're in a little bit of a flounder. Yeah, that's going to resolve, unfortunately. One, two, three. Inventor's Fairs can our opponents draw? Quite a few, apparently. Alright, this allows fine. So... we're 20-some cards into our deck. Almost 20 cards into our deck, and we haven't seen any of our draw spells, any of our win cons. What you go get here? You get one or more energy, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Yeah, I don't think I can allow you to complete the combo, because then every creature you get is... Search for Azcanta. So let's put that in my graveyard. Yes, I'd like to transform this. Teferi. This is going to leave us vulnerable for one turn, but if we just continue dirtling, we're going to eventually die to their combo anyway. Okay. faster opponent here. Yeah, unfortunately that's going to resolve. Alright, Syncopate's okay-ish. Fatal Push. I have no way to trigger Fatal Push right now. I have no idea, because I don't remember what my opponent's combo is. So... is the problem, if we're being frank. No, I can't afford to remove that right now. I was going with you, Foz. Let's discard one Seal Away and one Fatal Push. Yeah, I understand that part of the combo. I'm just trying to figure out... There's actually... Jose, there's actually a combo with the 3 modules themselves that has nothing to do with the Aetherflux Reservoir, whatchamacallit combo. Well, this puppy is not resolving, so... So they have 2 mana open, which means it's going to resolve. But I think I'm going to force them to tap out here. Infinite shooters, infinite shitters, however you want to pronounce them. Probably send these 3 at Teferi. Yep. Field of Ruin. Field of Ruin's a semi-good draw here. Another search for his Canta. So I think I go ahead and contempt this out of my life. I'll go ahead and get to make 2 more Thopters here. Activate search here. We are looking for settle the wreckage. Ding. So now our opponent can't really attack. Untap. This one and this one. Don't tell me you drew another one. Seriously? I mean, we care about Aetherflux Reservoir, but we also don't care about Aetherflux Reservoir, if that makes sense. Especially when they're on 0 cards, pretty much. Let's start the slow process of killing these Thopters with 1-for-1 removal, because that's just good, fun magic. Okay, Glimmer. Any order. Activate this. Another Glimmer. Got the land. Okay, activate these 2. Discard a bunch of cards. So I have to discard 1. Let's discard a Seal Away. Say, you know I've settled the wreckage, right? Fortunately, we have to let this resolve. Glimmer, looking for Gearhulks here. Bottom that. Bottom that. Draw 2 lands. Not in the main deck, no. In the sideboard, yeah. The problem is the build that I chose to run is literally running no cast outs, none of that in the main, so we're stuck with what we got, so to speak. And the main cards I'm looking for at this point are Disallows and Gearhulks, so we only have so many Anointed Priest. See what we glimmer into here. Settle the wreckage to the bottom, isolate a chapel to the bottom. Another Gear Hulk. Makes this pretty easy. Use doesn't matter. Flashback on Contempt. Get this thing out of here. No, the post-board game's probably going to be... What are they trying to do here? Oh. They're going to return it to their hand. Nifty. I'm just supposed to start tucking their crap. So we have so many cards already. No, the post-board games are going to have, like, Duress, Doomfall, Forsake the Worldly. The post-board game and the Gate. Post-board game is probably going to be a slaughter. Fabrication Module. Is that the infinite one? How much mana do you currently have access to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright, Anointed Priest gone. What do you even have right now? Don't think they realized that was exiled. I was gonna say, I don't think our opponent realizes that that card got exiled. That said, it is going to take a little while to kill them, so try to find a disallow. Any order. Ornithopter. Do I actually have to counter this Ornithopter? Fabrication module. Yeah. Choose a counter. Or you get one or more. Okay. Whenever you get energy, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. I don't think I need to counter this Ornithopter. I have no idea. I'm just eliminated the need to do the math. I'm tired of trying to figure out the combo in my head. I'm just... Wow, that was all it took to get them to concede? Yeah, I understand their combo just gets stupid. That's pretty much what I understood from that. We want the duresses, we want the negates, we want to forsake the worldlies. So seal away doesn't seem great. Syncopates aren't fantastic, but we do need a way to close out the game. Doomfall, maybe? But what am I boarding out? I'll leave at least a couple cellular wreckages in, a couple of syncopates, then... Like, I don't want to go down all of my creature removal, but their combo's only somewhat creature related, so... Is that enough creature removal for their stuff? Try it like that. Very rarely in Standard do you actually see a true hardcore combo deck, so... Duress, I guess, is good enough here? So how's everyone doing? You enjoying the warm weather if you're here in the US? Enjoying the Memorial Day? Where is it? Everybody at in the world? Mulliganing to 5. Keeps their hand. Scries to the top. Alright, so I guess that's a reason to lead on to rest. We have a counterspell. So they have Anointer Priest and Whirler Virtuoso. So our duress bricks. So we're gonna get hit by some. You gotta huh? Okay. Continuing to be confused by some of our opponent's actions. Pass. Syncopate for a creature, negate for anything else. Alright, so they can drop Whirler Virtuoso this turn. Power Stone. I am in Northeast Ohio. Yep, let this one resolve. Continue to choke you on mana. So either play something I care about, or I glimmer. I'm doing pretty good today, Jose. How are you doing? Animation module, yeah, that one will resolve. So opponent has Inventor's Fair and that's good. Did you get my reply back to your F&M report there? It's chilly there? Huh. So our opponent played around Syncopate here. Alright, whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you get energy. Whenever you... Okay, so this requires the other one to really get rolling, if I'm understanding this correctly. Faster opponent here. Yeah, I did Fonz. Probably gonna work that in either tomorrow or Wednesday. Fabrication module, that's the one that requires me to take action. That one's going to take a little bit of thinking on my part, because I haven't played too many of the prison-esque enchantment decks. So, especially since yours is more of a straight-up thing, as opposed to some of the lists are running. Most of the versions I've seen, like, getting played on any streams or anything, usually run Enduring Ideal with Lotus Blooms. So, your version's a little more straightforward without that package, so... Probably should have played Gearhulk here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just get Teferi down. Nagate is a good one. In some ways, I feel bad for our opponent, but in other ways, it's just like you're willingly staying in a game that you know you're a huge dog in. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What am I discarding here? I'm discarding Glimmer. Yeah, that deck certainly looks like one of those once you set up a lock, the game's over, and it's just like, well, have fun while I sit here and figure out which method of killing you I choose. So search for his Kanta Glacial Fortress. I think, due to my mana constraints, I'm interested in both of those cards. Gonna say, then I'll immediately draw another land, right? Because this is how this works. Plus on Teferi, get a Fatal Push. Just go ahead and push this, because I don't want to discard cards. Master our opponent. I think the opponent keeps hoping I'm going to auto-pass or something here. Maybe that's what's going on. Alright, and they scoop. Finally, the torture is over. I wanted that opponent. I didn't want to play against the same opponent. That's horrible. You must take a special degree of misery in your opponent. So, just want to thank everyone for tuning in this morning, or this afternoon, here in the United States, this morning or evening, wherever you are. My screen name here on Magic Online is Duskblader, or Dusk for short, so that's why I go with Dusk Till Dawn Gaming. My actual name is John, so those of you actually wondering what my real name was, stream here, trying to stream. Sure, Danny Bar. I will pull it up here in one moment. Well, here's a hand. Do I risk this hand? Like mono 4-drops .deck? Sure. Copy. There's the list that I am running off of. So, play island and pass. Don't want to get too far behind in time in case don't like Core Firewalker, so I play Soulfire Grandmaster. Yeah. I love playing a standard deck in which you can, Prophetic Prism. Alright. Ha! Never keep the control two-hander, or two-lander. What is it with Power Shard being played in some of these, like, two-man Q decks here? Guess I'm discarding a Glimmer of Genius? Another artifact deck? Seriously? I am totally confuzzled as to what's going on here. Alright, well, let's go to the next game. So, once again, we want all of our duresses, we want all of our negates, we want our Forsake the Worldies, we want our Doom Falls. We might want Argyl's Bloodfast. Cards we don't want, Seal Away. We might want, like, one Settle the Wreckage just as kind of a hedge. And a couple copies of Syncopates. Cut a couple of the Fatal Pushes. And guess I'd like to play first. Guess we keep, but man, we are having some rough starting hands for these matchups. Sure, you get my Fatal Push or my Glimmer of Genius. Little did you know, opponent, we weren't actually keeping anything relevant. Play that out. Someone's probably like, oh, now they're counterspells. Nope, we don't have any. So I leave 2 creature removal spells in my deck, and I draw both of them. Mm-hmm. Hopefully our opponent doesn't resolve anything too threatening this turn. It's a lot of mana. Mm-hmm. Wow. Oh. Thanks for the butt whooping. Can I have your list? Oh, God. I just can't even be sad at that, you know? I just can't. Oh, it's hard to get mad at that, you know? It's like turn 4, here are my 10/10s, and you just boarded out all your meaningful creature removal. Oh, man. Alright. GG's. Oh. I can't even be mad at that, you know? You just can't. Oh, dear. Alright, 1 second. Alright, sorry about that. Didn't want to make you guys listen as I was getting a drink of water, because it's freaking hot out here. So, hopefully we don't run into the same opponent. Okay, I think that's a different opponent, so. Alright. Oh. Turns out our opponent was on a Metalwork Colossus list, so, you know. Triple counterspell hand. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, yeah, that could go wrong. Oh, wow. These are actually two-man queues, and the reason I test in two-man queues, if we're being completely honest here, is to do a standard, friendly, or competitive league with a control deck is going to take you 2.5 to 3 hours. So it's going Space Marine. But when I'm mainly I test in friendly to get a feel for the deck more than anything. When I'm doing the serious testing is when I get into competitive leagues. I don't like getting into competitive leagues and just hemorrhaging money, if at all possible. So, is the main reason, Jose? Oh, our opponent's trying to play around stuff, but it's just like, nah, we're good. Because, like, okay, like, for every mat, I do the two-man queues because the practice rooms, you don't get serious enough stuff. But to be honest, some of the sweetest decks I've ever seen come out of these, like, brews. And you see a lot of people trying to brew stuff, and sometimes it's just, like, off-the-wall, awful stuff. And other times it's just, like that mono black metalwork Colossus that we just literally got our hind ends kicked by. So that was work, Space Marine. Hopefully didn't work you too hard. So I'm not showing that list showing up in my Gmail yet. Hopefully it shows up before too long. Hazarati. Yep, opponent, you have a Hazaret. Oh, they're just using the activated ability. Okay. So we need to draw in a downpour. Alright, we really need to draw Black Source. Untap Black Source, preferably. Alright. Bedded pools. Alright, sweet. I think I'm just supposed to let our opponent dome us here and go to combat. That way they have to discard a card, and the fact that they can't, they can't just play another Hazaret and crash in, so. Oh, and I just let that Pia resolve for no good reason at all. I thought they were discarding, and they're not, so. Hashtag punt. I guess we wouldn't have had enough mana to counter it anyway, so. Oh, how's that going for you, Jose? Alright, now we're looking for a way to deal with this. Put that in the bin, yes. Awkward. See if our opponent plays around, settle the wreckage. I think that's about all we're going to get out of our opponent here, so let's go ahead and Fatal Push that. Soul Scar Mage. Feels bad, but I think I have to counter this. Our life total is low enough that we don't really want to risk that. Yes, I'd like to draw a Teferi. Why did I just discard a Teferi? That makes no sense. Sometimes how they ask the questions on Magic Online is so obnoxious. Yeah, control's fine. I mean, honestly, in Modern, I'm not usually a control player, so alright, I think we're just going to pass here. I want to be able to activate Escanta and play whatever we draw. Chain Whirler is fine. Seal Away, Glimmer, and Fatal Push. Swing and a miss. Alright. Alright, might be a little bit of trouble. Go to 6 here. So if we had the Teferi going, I think we'd be in good shape, but obviously we don't, so... Do I just go ahead and main phase Glimmer here, looking for Teferi or something? His Fatal Pushes are being very kind of meh in this matchup. Gotta let this one resolve. Mainly because if we counter it, they'll just bring it back as a 4-4 that we can't really deal with very well. You have Lightning Strike, you have Lightning Strike. There's not much I can do about that right now. really want that to ferry, but at the same time, I also need to deal with your guys, so, you know. Seal away your stupid guy. Yeah, but still having the Teferi, even as just a source of card advantage, would have been nice here. Because then I wouldn't be fighting this nonsensical one-for-one battle in a game that I should be very far ahead of if without that punt. Let's pass here. We are down on time, so I do need to find a win con. One part about tapping on Magic Online is it's just such an annoyance. Yep. Any order. Should have glimmered there. I'm trying to play a little bit faster so I'm not losing the timeout, because this is going to be a grind fest in the post-board games. Definitely don't want any of those lands. One thing about all these dual lands that's kind of obnoxious is having to tap them for... that's a top. I'm going to play that land at this point. This game's on lockdown now, pretty much. Although, to be fair, our opponent could be sitting on a bunch of unlicensed disintegrations, so... yeah, I don't care about going to 1. Do you have a third shock in your hand? Yeah, I agree on that assessment. It's part of the reason I like approach in game 1, but then in the post-board games it just gets to be awful. So I'm discarding Seal Away here, I guess. Am I even flashing back right now? Glimmer, just because. Okay. Wow, it just took 1 Gearhulk to finish that game off. Crazy. I need to make sure here for a second that I sent him tgotavern@gmail.com. I still haven't seen the pop-up on my notifications, but... Alright, so, Jose, what... Okay, we probably won't forsake the worldlies. Contempt... Negates... Don't know if I really want Duress in this matchup. Doomfall, maybe? Question is then, what am I going down? Foz, I have no idea. I literally... Well, to be honest, Ether Hub would be very stretched in this deck. And this deck has very good mana because you have the 8 tapped cycle lands, and you also have the 12... comes into play untapped when you control X dual lands. So this version really doesn't need that as much. So what am I shaving here? Yeah, I was thinking maybe a couple of pushes. We still want some because they're still going to have some amount of their early pressure. Maybe it's just all the syncopates. Try it like that. I think we keep this hand. We definitely need one of our other basics. So I think I lead on that. That way I can hold Seal away. There's Bug Boy. There's a second Bug Boy. Yep, looks like you're right. This is more of the aggro-ish version. Once again, Space Marine, I will refer to you the fact that the list I chose was just the most simplistic. So it's pretty much almost a 4 of, so that's kind of the reason I went with it. Doomfall. We're certainly going to test... Oh my. Well, looks like they're just the resilient creature version of the deck, so we kind of mis-sideboarded a little bit. Or I mis-sideboarded. Main phasing most of my removal so they can't use like a shock or something to send it to the graveyard. Of course I say that and I'm going to get smoked by a Hazoret or a Chandra this turn. We're just dead, aren't we? Because I missed on that land drop. Maybe they won't attack with Settle the Wreckage mana up, but we're probably dead here. It's a pretty disgusting trick. So this allows us to survive for this turn as long as their card in hand is not... Yeah, if they have Unlicensed Disintegration, we're just dead here, right? Or Braid. Okay. I don't think there's any one card with 7 mana that can answer this. No, not even Teferi gets out of this. Like Teferi into Settle the Wreckage. Alright, so it looks like they're just a little bit more aggro-y than I was expecting. So... definitely want the Fatal Pushes. Probably want the Settle. The Fumagates. Probably go down these Doomfalls. Should have like E-negates. Probably like a Glimmer. Huh. What is the last couple of cuts? Yeah, we figured they were going to board into the bigger package, and they just boarded into... Still wouldn't be surprised if they have Duress and Argyl's Bloodfast in their deck right now. one drop, huh? So we're gonna have to cycle this Fetid Pools probably, because it doesn't solve our white mana problem. Okay, Scrounger. Search for his Kanta. Guess we risk it this turn. Alright, Chain War was like among the least threatening cards in this spot. Put this into your graveyard, yes. Come on, deck. Like, our opponent can't keep bricking on... Yep, Chandra. Well, I mean, sometimes even with a search for his Kanta going, you still get stuck on 3 lands? Eh. So... yeah, sometimes that happens. I'm gonna go ahead and check my Gmail, see if that list has come through. I don't see it, unfortunately. Maybe we'll get it later. Just looking to see if my opponent's whatchamacallit list had come through. But apparently not, so... oh well. we'll go ahead and play one more match this afternoon. Got to test against red-black a little bit there, but, I mean, sometimes you get stuck on lands, and there's really not more you can do. So, in that particular case, the testing was good. So, what was the WoW for, Foz? The, getting stuck on lands problem? Here's hoping the final match of this afternoon is something relevant. Yeah, it happens sometimes. I mean, even with 27 lands and a search for his Kanta going, it's like, we literally had to hit runner lands and our opponent to play stupid into settle the wreckage there. Vraska's Contempt, 6 lands. It's standard. Other than mono red, there aren't too many matchups that punish us for keeping this hand. Okay, Merfolk can certainly be one. Yeah, I got 4 shots at a 4th land and never hit it. To be fair, we would have had to hit runner lands, because I would have had to hit Settle the Wreckage, and then the following turn would have had to tuck his Chandra before she was able to... Alright, well, it looked like we were up against Merfolk. Now I have no idea. Could be green-white something. I don't know. Pass here. Continue to take our beatdowns from 1-1. Fire off this sealed away, I guess. I'm guessing their entire deck's blue. Silvergill Adept showing Merfolk Trickster. So I wonder what the cute splashes of color are for. Why would a Merfolk deck splash white? Chat, can someone tell me why the Merfolk deck would make its deck worse to splash white? Some type of cast out, maybe? Is that why you'd willingly splash white? So I gotta be careful with Merfolk Trickster because I'm thinking Trickster can blank your Hulk triggers? Question mark? I mean, Teferi would be a reason, but I think... Wouldn't Nissa serve a similar purpose if they were trying to go for... like, card advantage against a control deck? Be nice to be able to counter that one. Unclaimed territory. Feels horrible to use this spell on it. But I want to be able to tuck their stupid, It's Kamina? Yep, feels like Kamina. No. Alright, if you have Blossoming Defense, this will draw it out. Okay. What are you maxing out your Trickster for this turn? Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So Teferi's dying. Or is it? All at Teferi? Okay. So, good old merfolk grind. Still not sure what the white man is for. That's a bit of a question mark that I'm not sure of. Could very well be for Teferi Toze. Now, how much of their board do they risk in an attack on Teferi? Wow. No respect for Settle the Wreckage. For cast out? Possibly. I just think that there's so much better splashes you could have. 2, 3, put some weight in the graveyard, yes. Ooh, Torrential Gearhulk, that's a good one. So the one thing we're kind of missing in all this nonsense is a disallow. Oh, Radiant Destiny. It's a bit of an ambitious splash for Radiant Destiny, though. I suppose that would make some sense, especially if you're having, like, you're going through the trouble of running Deep Root Waters. That might make some sense. Alright, this allows pretty much the final piece of the puzzle. Yeah, I'm not saying it's not a powerful interaction. Trust me, I've suffered under the power of Radiant Destiny before. Alright, 1 second. Alright, so let's presume that they are in fact operating under the guise of having Radiant Destiny in their deck. Does that mean we want Forsake the Worldly? Probably not. These counter spells are probably not good. The Syncopates at least. They could have Spell Pierce in their board. So, how am I going to play around that? Maybe just bring in the Forsake the Worldlies. In case they have, I mean, obviously they have Deep Root, and they also probably have Radiant Destiny. We're figuring they might also have Cast Outs on the sideboard. So, I think we're just supposed to go straight removal like this, question mark. Syncopate probably isn't great against their deck in general. Can't Field of Ruin basics. Field of Ruins does a lot of great things. It doesn't hit basics, and we only have one in this list. Silvergill revealing Mistfolk Binder. Okay. This feels like a game that if we don't find our settles could end pretty quickly. There's Deep Root Waters. Possible given their mana situation. I should have just countered that one. Fatal Push. Should definitely have disallowed the Silvergill Adept. Yeah, they're just going to play the counter game here. See if they risk their Lord now. Pass. Probably dead without hitting a settle here shortly. Two, 4, 5, 6, 7. Forsake the world. Put that in the graveyard. Yes. Alright, so our opponent's definitely on the counterspell and nonsense plan. How do we fight that? I don't think we want... Still don't think we can land counterspells, because it's hard for us to hold up our interaction plus play counterspells. Forsake the Worldly is definitely the right call with their deep. They're definitely highly reliant on that deep root thing to pull them out of games. Guess I'd like to play first. Yeah, Duress might have been a decent call. Double search for his Kanta inner opener is a little awkward. Don't think I'm supposed to play around Spell Pierce here with having 2 copies. Nope. Silvergill revealing what? Merfolk Branchwalker. No, I'd not like to get rid of Fumigate. Though I do need to find 2 white sources for it, which is not going to be easy. Yeah, I'm thinking Disallow's a little clunky. It's possible we want something like Syncopate. Graveyard, yes. This Genius is probably no reason to run it face first into a negate. Yes, I'll put that into the bin because I need white sources. Alright, fair enough. So I kept the double white card, and then this is a cycle. Naturalize. Sure. This is probably the branch walker. So force you to eat up your entire turn if you have a negate here. Spell Pierce, seriously? See if they have like another naturalize here. Why wouldn't you deploy your Mistbinder here? I'm confused. No. Yes. Like, I don't understand why they're not deploying their Mistbinder there unless they're specifically holding up negate. Mm-hmm. Alright, so now our opponent's gotta balance playing around Citadel of the Wreckage with a Fumigate they know we have. Seems pretty good. Yep. Okay, Deep Root Waters. They're probably going to leave that one on top, right? Yep. Two, 4, 7, 9, 10. Glimmer. Alright, so 2 and 2. Lost to red black a little bit because of not drawing enough lands. Certainly had a few punts there and there. So, anyone with any thoughts about Esper before I go ahead and give my opinion? So, my thoughts on Esper, probably want something closer to the one Gabriel Nassif did on Channel Fireball. You probably want some amount of cast outs, some amount of cast downs over some of these seal aways, and yeah, it does. The mana can be a little bit clunky. I don't know. I think there are some positives to it. I don't know if this is exactly like the optimum list. I mean, this list is heavily geared towards creatures, so... And we played against a couple non-creature based combo decks, pretty much. So... You know. Not the best representation of the deck, probably, but... Certainly needs some tweaking if Esper is the direction you go. I like the sideboard. Like, the sideboard... Feels like the sideboard's pretty well set up against almost everything you want, other than maybe mono red. But the main deck needs a little bit of, like, tweaking, like, the numbers, like, cast downs and cast outs to stop some of the stuff. And I don't know about Syncopate. Like, I want 2 mana counters, but I don't know the 4 Syncopates where you want to be at. But... yeah, I think the list that Nassif played on Fireball was 2 Contempt, 2 Cast Out, and like 1 Settle the Wreckage in the main deck. I think you still want like 2 Sweepers in the main deck and more in the sideboard. So, I mean, it's kind of hard. I think the biggest downfall of the deck is the double white, the double black, the double blue. I mean, the mana seems pretty decent for, like, the single mana spells, but, like, the double spells seem a little, yeah, I agree there. The deck building on that is not, like, fantastic. Like, I think, like, maybe 2 Syncopates is alright with, like, either backup of, like, Essence Scatters or Negates, but I don't think 4 with Settle the Wreckage in the deck is correct. But I mean, this was our first attempt to run Esper, so kind of nice to get some of the feel of the deck out before committing to like wider testing with it. I don't know. I like the idea of Fatal Push against like the Heart of Kiran decks, but you know, as we saw, we don't have a ton of ways to trigger. Don't have a ton of ways to trigger Revolt, so sometimes that's a problem. So, because like there's a lot of 3 mana creatures like Goblin Chain Whirler or that like that we want to kill. So there's a lot of like little nuances to this version of the deck that I think definitely need tested going forward. But I did want to get Esper out there, see how it did. I think blue-white's a little bit more smoother, but this deck has a little bit better tools for the mirror match and for the aggro decks, which are certainly problems in the meta for blue-white right now. So, trading power, consistency for power, pretty much. It's always the case when you, most of the time that's the case when you go from 2 to 3 color decks, unless your name was Team or Energy with, yeah, Attune with Ether was unbanned. So, I want to say thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll probably be back. Duress main over 1 Settle and Syncopate. I could see Duress in the main being alright. But I think if you're going like Duress in the main, you're almost just better off running like you're almost better off running like blue-black Splash Teferi? I don't know. Like, there are certain draws from certain directs Duress is just dead against. So, definitely some numbers to play with here. So, I want to say thanks for everyone hanging out. This is your first time on the channel, or if you're returning to the channel and you're not already a subscriber, if you'd consider subscribing, that'd be great to help the channel grow. If you liked what you saw in the video, feel free to hit that like button. If you don't like what you saw, guess you can hit the unlike button. Comments are disabled because there was some real life stuff going on that keep me from doing that. If you have any constructive things that you think of after the stream, my email is mtgotavern@gmail.com. If you have any lists you'd like me to play, feel free to send that there. I stream quite a bit of Modern and Standard, so yeah, I think 3 disallows main. I don't know. Like, Nassif's list was like 3 Essence Scatter, 3 Disallow, and 3 Censor. I don't really like Censor in the deck, but it cycles, so eh. Well, I'll be back later, Foz. I'm just probably going to be streaming Modern. I'm probably going to stream a little bit of Mono White Humans tonight, and then tomorrow night when I stream, it'll be probably a little bit of Blue White, and then on to your Mono White Prism list in Modern. So definitely going to be doing a little bit more streaming tonight, probably sometime after 7:30, 8 p.m. Eastern, somewhere in there. So I'll be playing a little bit of Mono White Humans in Modern. The deck faster and has better synergy. It's definitely possible, Mac. I'm not a huge fan of Supreme Will. Once again, in the Settle the Wreck-It, the decks that I like Supreme Will in are the approach decks. I don't like them as much in the hard control decks. So, I mean, I could see it as a 2 of. There's a lot of different card combinations that could see play. That's part of the reason why I went for this particular build of Esper, is this was the most streamlined. A lot of other lists are running like 2 of this, 2 of that, 2 of this, 2 of that. So I wanted to go with the list that had the most 4 ofs, and just to see if we like certain cards. Like, I like Vraska's Contempt. I like some number of Fatal Pushes. I like Disallows some number. I don't like Syncope as a 4 of. I don't like Fatal Push as a 4 of. I don't like Seal Away as a 4 of. So there's a lot of different permutations we can go through with Esper. So, but I do have dinner to eat here soon. So I wanted to get a good stream in this afternoon. I want to thank everybody for hanging out. If you like what you're seeing, please hit that subscribe button. It'll let you know when I'm going live. I'm going to try to update later on when I have some better idea when I'll be getting back on. Maybe give like a half-hour heads up or so that we're getting back on with the Mono White Humans list in Modern. So I want to thank everyone for hanging out. Thanks everyone for your suggestions. Thanks everyone for participating in chat. It's been great, and I hope to catch you again. This has been Dust for Dust to Dawn Gaming.